So please welcome our keynote speaker, Devin Thorpe.
That was quite an introduction. I think I'm going to take John on the road with me. June 3rd, 1983 was my last good hair day. Now, it is not the fault of Teresa, my hairdresser. She's phenomenal. She just doesn't have much to work with. Now, Teresa is a remarkable woman. A while back, she was attending a community council meeting in Salt Lake City where the chief of police was attending. And she asked him during Q&A what he should be doing to get rid of all of the homeless people who are making such a mess of our city. And he responded that if every business in the community did something to help the homeless, there would be no homeless. Well, she really took this to heart, and she began going down to the homeless shelter every week where she would cut and style the hair for the women who were at the shelter. She would require the women to do a little bit of work, typically to help clean up, in exchange for the haircuts. And at first, some of the women balked, but ultimately they learned a little responsibility to do a little bit of work for their haircuts. And ultimately, she ended up hiring several of the women to come work full-time at her shop. Her program was so successful that she was featured on Channel 2 News one night on the local television. They presented her with a check for $500 on camera, and she took the money and gave it to one of her homeless friends for dental work. The program has been so successful that she has expanded her store, physical space, and her staff by more than 50% since she launched her program. It really is evidence that adding purpose can add profit to your business. And it's not just small business. The large businesses can help with the SDGs as well. Now, Rihanna, Miley Cyrus, and Lady Gaga are all signed on to be spokespeople for the world's most powerful lipstick, Viva Glam. It's an Estee Lauder MAC Cosmetics brand. And what's remarkable about this is that they've all agreed to do this almost for free. And the reason is that the money from Viva Glam, 100%, every penny, goes toward fighting AIDS, now part of SDG number 3. Over the years, MAC Cosmetics, the MAC AIDS Fund, has donated over $400 million a year and is now giving, over $400 million in total, and now giving $50 million a year toward AIDS, making it the second largest funder in the AIDS fight after the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's really an incredibly impactful, remarkable program. One of the interesting things is that the company assures me that this is a profitable program. Let's just talk about where that profit comes from, because although all the money comes from customers, Estee Lauder is still making the lipstick, they're still marketing the lipstick, distributing the lipstick, so how can it be profitable? What they tell me is that, now part of it is that they have spokespeople who are working almost for free, that helps. Their retailers remit 100% of the proceeds. They don't keep a dime when they sell Viva Glam lipstick. And then another key part is that they have trained their customers not to expect a gift with purchase, but what they call good with purchase instead. But the real profit doesn't come from those efficiencies and opportunities, but instead from the simple fact that they are able to engage so much better with customers and employees. That is how they tell me this program really becomes profitable. In an overwhelming 86% of respondents to an informal survey I did for a Forbes article a while back said that their employees were happier because of their corporate social responsibility programs. And 76% said that they had better employees as a result of those programs. Really an amazing statistic. Now, I want to tell you the story quickly here of Ann Care Reichert. She is a Rotary Peace Fellow, and she created an amazing program in Germany in partnership with Daimler and some other large corporations there to work with the 1.1 million refugees who have arrived in the last year.
She thought the images weren't fair. When Ann Care Reichert saw the photos in the media of some of the 1.1 million refugees arriving in Germany, she said, "We need to stop talking about refugees and start talking with refugees instead." Ann met a refugee named Mohammed who had been a programmer. He explained that he couldn't program because he didn't have a computer. She knew that 43,000 IT jobs were open in Germany, so she decided to launch the Ready School of Digital Integration to teach them coding skills. In 1 year, she launched her nonprofit school and has already trained dozens of students. Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan even visited the school and geeked out with the students. The program is working. Her students even created an app called Bureaucrazy to help refugees navigate the bureaucracy. Rotary's John Hugo said, "If we don't act now to build the conditions for peace, then events that undermine it will only increase."
One of the keys to a successful corporate social responsibility program is to choose a cause authentically. Let me tell you a little bit about how one company did that. Susan was invited to go with her company BDA on a corporate retreat to Hawaii with all of the other employees. And she invited her on-again, off-again boyfriend to go with her, I think hoping that it would solidify their relationship. One night during the retreat, her colleagues heard her screaming in her hotel room. Because her boyfriend had blocked the door, they weren't able to get in time, and he is now serving a life sentence for her murder. The company chose as its cause the fight against domestic violence. Now, I hope none of you have to lose an employee to choose a cause. But I assure you that if you talk to your employees and your customers, you'll be able to find something that stirs that sort of passion in order to enable you to really connect with your employees and customers to build a CSR program. Not long ago, I had the founders of doTERRA, a $1.2 billion startup, on my show. And they told me about their efforts to eradicate extreme poverty in the developing world. Let me share their story with you.
Some say corporations are the problem, not the solution. doTERRA, a $1.2 billion direct marketer of essential oils, sought to prove them wrong. It established its co-impact sourcing program in developing countries around the world. The goal is to improve the livelihoods of smallholder farmers and their communities. Nepal villages where the company sourced wintergreen were devastated by the 2015 earthquakes. This proved to be a moment of truth for the company. Would it cut and run or double down? The company doubled down, bringing aid to affected communities. In the spring of 2016, the company's Healing Hands Foundation constructed 500 desks and 2 schools, including the first new school built after the earthquakes. doTERRA also put people to work, helping 20 communities put wintergreen distillation units into production. doTERRA proves that corporations are part of the solution to global problems.
Now, I know some of you are thinking that corporations should do good just because it's the right thing to do, regardless of profit. But what I want you to remember is that if a company is making its profit from doing good, there is no limit to the good it can do. There is one challenge, one problem, one caution I want to offer in conclusion. And that is that if we delegate the responsibility for doing good to corporations, we may be tempted to rest on the comfort of our consumerism for solving the world's big problems. But you and I personally share the responsibility to solve those problems. So I want you all to make a pledge with me. Everybody stand up. And if you're in the other room, if you are watching online, I want you to stand up and do this with us. Around the world, there will be millions of us. So I want you all to take this pledge. I will change the world with me. And we're going to repeat it 4 times. Each time, I want to emphasize a different word. And the first time, I want you to say it like you mean it, emphasizing the word I. I will change the world. Now will. I will change the world. I will change the world. I will change the world. Now, the world's biggest problems of disease, poverty, and climate change are no match for you, so I'm going to get out of your way. Thank you very much.
Devin, thank you so much for your wonderful, inspiring, and very powerful presentation.
When it says inclusive, it's following up on the pledge that you just made to change the world.
As Devin said, we want to make sure that we don't talk at people or about people, but we want to make sure that we include them in the discourse.
Well, one thing that I've said since morning is I repeat again, and Devin said in his presentation as well, businesses now are part of the solution. Devin again said about making profit, but also help doing good.
And as we have seen in the video just before, one of the most marginalized groups are small-scale farmers.
So on this note, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to close this session by reminding you that, as the previous speaker and the keynote speaker of this session said, the challenge of inclusive economic development also rests with you.